Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As with you always, this is Max doing a live video today on XRP. So we're going to start things off in this great world by welcoming a few people from our wonderful audience. And we're going to start things off with the one, the only, Tim Shea, who says, hey, welcome back, Crypto Commissioner, Mayor Crypto, representing the 589th District of the XRP Army. Mr. Tim Shea, glad to have you here. I'm going to turn on some disclaimers and some banners because the HUD was naked. And let's see here. We also have a few other guys, and I appreciate everybody being here. It's going to be a good show. Let me give you a heads up real quick. So before we welcome some more people, we have some headlines we're going to get into. We talked about Coinbase, the ETF application, BlackRock, the Coinbase ETF application. We're going to talk a little bit about the recent one with Fidelity. And on top of that, you guys know about some bad news in regards to Kucoin. It's not the end of the world, but I don't like it. So yeah, there's some Kucoin, and then we'll jump into a follow-up of what we talked about yesterday with Ripple's XRP. That's why I was doing another joke about, as with you always, right? In regards to the royal ascent by King Charles III, signing off on some of the things that we were talking about yesterday that was reported from Lewis Jackson, aka Crypto Lulu. That's probably the biggest part of our outline tonight. I'm going to be honest, it's worth paying attention to. We have a little bit of Jasmine, a little bit of QNT, and a little bit of Nick's Era. But nonetheless, I mean, that's probably going to be some of our headlines tonight. Let's also welcome JC, the man with the master plan. They call him Josh Cornwell. He's the man, and I think you better recognize. All right, thank you for being here, Josh Cornwell. Give him a follow over at JC, the man. Hunter says, let's send it. Hey, Tim, welcome back, Hunter. So is it true ISO 222 is going live July 20th? Not ISO 222. ISO 222 technically is a messaging system, and when that went live, what was it, guys? March 20th. So that was March 20th. It's FedNow goes live July 20th. And I do have some things that were retweeted. We'll share with you guys on the live in regards to that. KK is back. Welcome back. Jasmine, circulating supply. Did they just add a partner? I don't know if it's exactly a partner, but from my discoveries, I want to point out some of the things that we talked about yesterday in regards to that, I guess you could say Silicon Valley partner. I don't know. You want to call it partner? We'll get to that as well in regards to the AMA, the recent AMA. Brittany's in the house. Thank you for being here. Ms. Brittany, she says, happy Thursday. Like Larry mentions, she does point out the date for everybody. Thank you for that, Brittany. I do have an announcement to make. I did talk with Larry before the show earlier. I do realize that the thumbnail was put out too late. The show was created too late. I apologize for that. It's been extremely stressful last couple days, especially today. Like, it's just brutal. But I'm gonna get through it, and it's gonna be a great show. I'm trying to stay positive. But what I was gonna state is this weekend, Larry is going out for the out to the beach or something like that with his lovely Lana. So with that said, I will be here with you guys for the weekend. And maybe I might switch things up just a tad bit on the weekend to maybe put a little focus on maybe a certain project. I don't know, kind of in reserves of that. Or I might just stick to the traditional format. We'll see how that goes. All right. So, but either way, I'll be with you guys on Saturday and Sunday. Some people like that. Some people don't. I don't know. You don't have, nobody has to watch the show every day, but I just thought I'd give you guys a heads up on it. I won't exactly get the weekend off. I'll be doing that. So KK again, like I said, welcome. Some talk about Japan's government and Jasmine. My thing was this, all right. I know I've been talking about doing the a deep dive in regards to all this. So I'm still committed to it. I've just been really sidetracked with real life, unfortunately. And it's been extremely stressful. I mean, like hardly any sleep. It's been bad, but nonetheless, I got to get that video out because I did spend quite a bit of time trying to get the right research. And it's not something that's so time sensitive. Like as of lately, I found more things to add to DFFT. Some of you guys have given me some research to round things off, like Coochie Boy, I believe. Maybe Michael Bonclair, maybe Boomer F and Sooner. I don't know, but we'll see. Cat Shields, welcome. Consider changing your avatar. Something speaks more about who you are and what you're about, but welcome back. Boomer F and Sooner, like I mentioned earlier, Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. I mean, you gotta be. Is there any show that does Rodney actually say that to you? Does he actually do the whole Boomer F and Sooner? I don't know if he does that. I'll have to find out. Maybe I'll watch a replay, but I just don't think nobody else out there does the Boomer F and Sooner. I'm sure your dog probably jumps off, the couch or something when I do the Boomer F and Sooner. Welcome, Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. All right. We're going to go further down, and we're also going to welcome the one and only Sobo. Glad to have you here, Sobo. I'll have to, check up on some DMs and update you on some things, but glad to have you here, Sobo. Always, I mean that. Thank you very much. And here's a dab from the metaverse of Max's unofficial office. Please smash that like. We were up into the 30s at one point, and I do appreciate you guys smashing that like. That's cool stuff. All right, we're going to welcome a few more of you guys. Soba's saying hello to everybody. So is all you guys, Crypto Homes, 777 is in the house. Michael Montclair says hello all. Glad to have you here, Michael Montclair. And I will share some of your findings that you found. I do believe I have that on one of the tabs. Let me just double check. I think we do. I think we have that. Yeah, about the digital assets. So that's going to round out our outline. Quant Papa, if you're in the house, man, I just want to say that, like, you're the man, I love you, man. You're a great guy. You really are. You're a really level-headed person, very unselfish, and you just got a good head on your shoulders, and you got great research. So welcome back. Welcome back, Cotter. Welcome back, Quant Papa. He's been freed. All right. GS is also in the house. Hello, Max, CTN fam. Thank you for being here. Coochie Boy says, hey, Max, and the CTN fam. Thank you, Mr. Cooch. Welcome to the Coochie Boy. If you're new, it's nothing that is bad, okay? It's nothing bad, It's a long story, and he's more than willing to tell you about it and so on, but it's not what you think. Anyway, glad to have you back, Mr. Coochie Boy. All right, let's kick it into Mike. Welcome back, Mike. Hoping Dad is okay. Man, he's just, I don't know. He's some days he has better days than others, and it's just, I don't know. It's sad. It is. But thank you. All right, Edward Vincent, aka Mr. Squidward. The one and only, the Michael Jordan of sales, basically speaking. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spill the beans. Anyway, Mr. Squidward, doing it big. Thank you so much for the likes, my friend. And congratulations on killing it, if you know what I mean. Hats off to you, sir. All right. You also could give Edward Vincent, I don't know if he wants me to mention this anymore, but I always do it anyway. Give him a follow over at Top Shelf Crypto on both YouTube and Rumble. All right, we're gonna welcome just a few more people. See if there's any specific comments. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk is in the house. Thank you for being here, Mr. Lambo's. Annie Rock is back. You can't miss that avatar. Welcome back. Glad to have you back, Mr. Annie Rock. Wink right back at you, I guess. No homo, no, Menelect with the great intellect. Hello, is it Menelect you're looking for? Lionel Richie. I was going to say it. I might get a freaking bumper sticker at some point. People are going to, a cop going to pull me in. Yeah, what's going on in here? Hey, what am I being pulled over for, officer? Menelect, Lionel Richie. You got something against Lionel Richie? No, I have nothing against it. It's just a classic bumper sticker. So when you see me, welcome Mentellect. Just know this: if you're a newcomer, it's an old thing that's been dating back for over a year. Larry did start it. And basically, every single time you welcome Mentellect, you go, hello, is it Mentellect we're looking for? Lionel Richie. That's what we're talking about. Lionel Richie. Boom. I like Lionel Richie. He's got some great songs. All right. River's in the house. It's going to have a great show. We're going to kick into what we have here in the bit. We're going to give you a little bit of crypto news, updates, education. It's going to be great. Please smash the like if you haven't done so already. And without further ado, let's also welcome April Cornwell. She's back. She's in his house. You got a new avatar going on. What's going on? You look very happy and enthusiastic. Probably because the lovely Mr. Cornwell has been, I don't know, you guys do it big. You guys enjoy shrimp, crab, all sorts of stuff. Hey, beautiful crypto peeps. Welcome back. And on top of that, I'm going to get a bookmark going. I saw a whole bunch of other people connected, I should say, which is good stuff. I want to welcome Mr. Triple C in the house. Anonymous Crypto Ghost is in the house. Cool Cat Crypto is in the house. Rick Cogswell, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And on top of that, we got Magic Power who says, hello, guten Tag, Liechtenstein Exchange. Just in the house. All right. We're going to use that as a bookmark. Let's kick it in because, we did about 11 and a half minutes of welcoming people. Don't want too many people leaving so on. Let's start off with some of the headlines. And in the process of doing so, let's do something that, I don't know. Maybe you guys like this. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think it's corny. I think it's kind of cool. But we're going to show what's going on with some of the headlines first. And in the process of doing so, we're also going to have an article that's going to have a reference to some of the stuff because why not? All right, here we go. Hello, and welcome to Crypto Talk Now headline news. On today's opening segment for the breaking news, we're going to talk a little bit about this whole thing with Fidelity. Now, you may be wondering, Fidelity, I thought we were talking about them last week. Well, there's a little bit more to it than, meets the eye. All right, so this comes from Documenting Bitcoin, and, there's quite the piece in regards to this, but CNBC basically reported that Fidelity joins the rush for a Bitcoin ETF. Like I mentioned before, I mean, is this a taste of that, the hint of the institutional, money coming in? We talk about utility runs and so on. Like, there has to be a start somewhere. Is this, a little taste of things to come? I think it might be. You start to see a momentum of things coming together. You start to see a narrative shift, if you will. Let's get into this. So CNBC, I'm sure they're going to give me a flag here in a second about, oh, please support us. Continue without supporting. Yes, that's right. And you're going to like it. All right. So Fidelity joins the rush for a Bitcoin ETF following BlackRock, ARK Invest, and others. Again, I mean, you're going to see a whole slew of, some of these ones and so on. At least that's what I think. They have some key points. This was reported earlier today at 1:37 p.m. I believe that's Eastern time from Jesse Pound. No, he's not part of the Digital Pound Foundation. No pun intended. But key points: asset management giant Fidelity Investments is again trying to launch a spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund. I mean, to me, this is all bullish, right? At the end of the day, it is. You want to see the institutional money coming in. If your focus is just retail market, I'm being honest with you. You need to look more into why there's such a big deal about talking about, for instance, like the first ever utility run. Just because the utility run hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. And there's enough evidence to support that there will be a utility run and it's going to blow people away. If your focus is on meme coins and meme tokens and that is it, yeah, there's money to be made. Some of you guys made some money in, PayPay, shout out to you and so on. But for me, just like what shows on the thumbnail, the generational wealth is definitely not necessarily the meme tokens, but it's that long-term solid plays in ones that have real-world use cases that are solving things and so on. And then to see the BlackRocks of the world, the Fidelities of the world and so on. Again, guys, that's the big institutional money. we should always pay attention to that stuff. So it says the move comes 2 weeks after, as we know, BlackRock filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF. One of the SEC's key concerns about a spot Bitcoin product is transparency in the market and the potential for manipulation. But forget the SEC. At the end of the day, they've done more damage to investors than protecting them. We know that. So this gets into it. And, it says, a few key things. I'm not going to repeat everything, right? But as far as the other firms, look what's mentioned here. It says other firms have filed a sign that the SEC stance could, soon change. Could it soon change, right? I mean, we've been following, of course, what happened, here recently, following Prometheum, and it's just like, what is this garbage? You know what I mean? But it says since then, Wisdom Tree, Van Eck, and Invesco have taken the initial steps towards their own funds. Kathy Woods, which I know a lot of you guys follow Kathy Wood, her ARK Invest filed for changes to its proposed Bitcoin fund. Basically, was it yesterday? Yeah, today's Thursday, so yesterday, and it's closer in line with BlackRock's application. I believe it's yes. Yeah. Okay. We're good. Thursday's filing is a proposed rule from SIBO. That sounds like a rapper from back in the day. SIBO. That's gonna bug me now. Anyway, BZX Exchange to list the Wise or Origin Bitcoin Trust, the name of Fidelity's previously proposed Bitcoin ETF that was denied by the SEC. So that's interesting to follow. The exchange has made similar filings for other firms over the past 2 weeks. So there's a lot of this going on. And of course, yesterday, if you tuned into yesterday's show, we did talk about what whale investors are doing in regards to this trust, right? In regards to Stellar Lumens on Grayscale. There's a little bit about Grayscale here. It says the commission is in a legal battle, believe it or not, with Grayscale about its decision to block conversion of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So not Stellar Lumens, but the Bitcoin Trust into an ETF. A decision in that case, of course, is expected later this year. We'll follow that. But the main key takeaway is you have another institutional player coming into the mix, right? Fidelity. Some of you guys, felt as though that this is not exactly big news, but it's worth sharing because, I mean, they definitely are a big player. All right. We got some more news for you guys, and I want to get into this because obviously it's crypto related. Let's jump into what's going on with Kucoin for a bit. So please smash that like button if you appreciate the content that you see here at CTN. If anything, it's nice for us to tick up and get the broadcast to a broader base. All right, so right here, and please follow me at Crypto Talk Now 21 up here. So in regards to Kucoin, all right, some of you guys saw this the other day. As you guys know, like I'm very active on Kucoin. Some of you guys are as well, the ease of access. And they've always been that platform that, technically we could go to and, get the KYC, right? Well, this was reported yesterday, 8:22 a.m., starting as into effect of July 15th. Kucoin will effectively kill crypto trading for anyone in the United States. It says enhancement of Kucoin customer identification and verification program. I'm going to go ahead and like this and retweet it. I don't like it as in like, I like what's happening. I'm just liking it because I want to share it. This guy says, can't you just register? I mean, that's a common question. Can't you just register as Kucoin? Can't you just register? And this guy, Dagnum PI, says not in US. And here's some of the, screenshots, right? Verification failed. Tap to view details. I want to state this. I mean, there's other things you could do. Some people feel as though that, you could, use a VPN, other means, right? You didn't hear it from me, but, you could look more into it. There's other avenues. People will have, do those things, right? They're going to use VPNs. They're going to do all sorts of whatever they can do. But the problem is when you go through a full KYC and you have that American ID, well, they're going to stop you in the tracks right there. So you got to do what you got to do. If you got family members that work, live outside the United States, work something out. If you choose to go that route, right? Obviously there's still MEXC. We'll have to see what goes on with that. Like this guy, damn, the one exchange I actually use, right? That's the way I look at it. But I'm not sweating it all the way. What I can do basically is, I don't know, maybe I put more focus on MEXC until that ends up being the next target or the next big thing. Why is this happening? It's the bottom line, right? Well, it's compliancy. They want to be compliant and so on, and probably gain more customers. Maybe it's a little bit of I don't know, maybe little hints or threats of the SEC coming after. I don't know. I mean, you think that something that's outside the United States wouldn't be that big of a deal, but nonetheless, regulatory compliancy, the talk of it, and so on. I did see a few days ago, I think leveraging is totally suspended even before the July 15th. I haven't been able to verify that. Mike Cornwall, I know this would probably affect you, but you do more of, Next C. But I think you do maybe a little bit of Kucoin. But I know this definitely affects quite a few people. It affects everybody, technically speaking, by the 15th, even myself. So I report that to you guys. We're also going to get into a little bit more of what we have. And it's in regards to XRP. And on that segment, we'll jump into that a little bit. We're going to get back to the comments for a bit just to see if there's any specific questions or comments. But I do thank you guys for being here. We got quite a bit more to get into. So let's kick it back into the comments before we get into the XRP segment. Quite a bit to mention, and not necessarily just XRP, but the signing of, King Charles III in the UK in regards to these digital assets. What does it mean for the future? We're going to get into all that stuff. All right. So Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk says he's looking into Caspa, the New England clam chowder version of Casper. More and more. Anyone got realistic price prediction? I don't have a realistic price prediction. I've heard, obviously numerous sources say that, they feel as though it's at least 100x. I mean, if that's the case, based on some of the prices where we're at, I mean, sitting at like over a penny. I mean, you could look at that as being over $1. So it is what it is. But I want to give you guys something a little bit more concrete. All right, so going further down, Michael Montclair says, yes, I sent you this CERDIC audit information and the UK crypto regulation guide. Yeah, we're going to pull that up in a little bit as well. Thank you for that, Mr. Michael Montclair. Just going to have a little drink of this juice real quick. Okay. No, Rodney pretty much ignores the boomer. Okay, well, that's understandable. All right. Hey, anybody who's just connected, we have a very welcoming community here at CTN. We do read your comments, any questions or comments you have, whether you're new to crypto or you've been in this whole thing for many years. Don't feel, feel free. Don't feel bashful. You can ask any question you want. We ask to just try to keep it respectful, and yeah, we would love to hear from you. So again, smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let me double check the other screen, make sure we're good. Also want to welcome the Aussie Life. Also, Mr. Selmo Fudd is in the house. And how about this longtime supporter? It was Hump Not Dump, Mr. Hump Not Dump, aka Badir. I want to, if he's here, introduce Mr. Henry Brown to you. You guys always sharing the same type of text, I should say, in the chat box. Blackwood is in the house. Glad to have you guys here. So Crypto Smooth and so on. All right, so we're just going to go further down. Welcome Ahmed as well. See if there's any specific questions or anything like that. April Cornwall says, hope everyone had the best day. I know I did. Got to spend some good time with your mom. That's great, April. I mean, spend a good quality time. I miss the time I spent with my mom. Miss her every day. I literally say a prayer with my dad every day. I said, Lord, please send our love to my mom in heaven. Let her know that we love and miss her every day. Think about it every day. So as my grandparents, friends, loved ones, family, they're with you in the kingdom of heaven. I do that. I know maybe some people feel as though that's just like, you don't need to do it every day. I do it every day. That's just the way I am. But that's good that you spend good quality time, because even though we talk about this crypto stuff, at the end of the day, you only get one mom, you only get one dad. Glad to see you're doing that. All right. GT is in the house with one of the best avatars of Carl Weathers, and the other arm is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he basically says, Max, you son of a bitch, what's the matter? The CIA got pushing into many pencils. Evening, everyone. Yes, welcome to the Crypto Show. Come to California. All right. Welcome. We're going to see if there's any more just comments, questions, any questions you got. Triple C's, you son of Arnold. Yeah, there you go. All right, I say that about everything. Now I'm like, hey, Muff, are the twins you have been looking? Oh boy. BSV is at 41.29. Is it really at 41.29? Let me take a look into that. Shout out to you, man. That's cool stuff. Let's see what's going on with that real quick. So share this tab instead. Let's go ahead and pull that up. What the heck is this? Can Nation? Huh. I don't know what that is. Anybody look? What's this other one? Centurion. They're going like parabolic. I want to check that out for a brief bit. Boy. I don't know about this. I mean, come on. 5 cents back in 2018 and out of nowhere, boom. Yeah, like this guy, Getz. Leo Getz, whatever you want, Leo Getz. Remember that? Lethal Weapon. Anyway, he says, what the heck is this? Shorting. You know what I mean? I guess. It's like Biggie Smalls, who the heck is this paging me at 5:46 in the morning, the quackathon, and now I'm yawning, wipe the cold out my eye. See who's this Can Nation crypto that's pumped up 776,670 or 700%, and why? I don't know. What's this other one? Let's check out this other one real quick. My God, there's part of the top 100. Centurion. Sounds like a cell phone carrier or something like that. I've been having problems with my cell phone carrier, believe it or not. Anyway, up to 385, all-time highs. What the heck is this? Look at this. It just looks like the same thing as the other one. Look at this. Down to 0.005. Now nowhere. It's up to $3.90. What is this? I don't know. But yeah, that deserves, if we didn't get copyright strike, I would totally play Biggie Smalls, warning, who the heck is this? What the heck is this? All right, you get what I'm saying. Forget all that, right? Let's pull up some BSV. BSV is doing well, 8.56 up, 56% up. Oh, even 9%, even before our very eyes. How about that? 38% up. Yeah, man. Cool Cat Crypto's in the house with the BSV. You know me. Look at that. That's doing pretty well. Stellar right behind it. Not too shabby, right? Not too shabby at all. I should have bought some ETH Classic when it was dirt cheap, to be honest, but whatever. I'm not sweating it. Chainlink is haunting me. I'm just being honest. It's absolutely haunting me with all the talks of Swift. I don't know. That it's kind of like the girl that got away. It's like my childhood girlfriend Jenny. The one that got away. God bless Jenny. Anyway. Little no fact, but Chainlink, I mean, for crying out loud, I mean, I don't know, like I just kind of feel like, man, at these price levels, I know I'm gonna be kicking myself later on when we find out more and more information apparently with Swift. So 589 anyway, but yeah, BSV, let's keep it up there for a brief bit and we'll get into a few more comments, and then I swear we're gonna get into this outline because we need to get into that here in a bit. Michael Montclair says $10 a BTC, so if it hits 500,000, I'll make 5,000 easy money. There you go. Not too shabby, right? The Humpty Dump or the Humpty Dance is your chance. Yo, man. Love and respect to everyone. Thanks, Humpty Dumpty. Crypto winner in the house. All right. Also, we have Coochie Boy says, could BTC, BSV, and BCH be part of the ETH? Who knows? I don't know about that, man. But I'm not gonna say that. There's no way of ETH. There's no possible way. Oh, it's a typo. Okay, I was gonna say there's no way. All right, let's use that as a bookmark. Let's double check the other screen, make sure we're good. Someone first says Crypto Talk Now, Larry. If it's not hot, oh God, I'm not gonna read that. All right, that's fun. I'm glad you guys are having some fun. All right, so please smash the like. Let's get back into what we have for the some of these topics. All right, so we shared some of the headlines with you guys. We're now going to get into what Lewis Jackson reported. And you guys know him as, the one, the only, Mr. Crypto Lulu. Okay, so Lewis Jackson did report yesterday that there was a big deal going on because King George III, who, let's face it, with the passing of his mother, right, Queen Elizabeth II, he's the new King of England, or King of the United Kingdom, of the monarchy and so on. He did have to sign off on some big crypto thing yesterday. So what is that, right? Let's do a follow-up on regards to that, because we said that we would follow up on it from yesterday. Smash the like. Let's jump into this. And here's the report. He stated that he was waiting on an email from the Treasury to tell him whether this whole thing goes into immediate effect, which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, just because the king signed off on it. But anyway, James Rule XRP originally reported on this. Let's take you to this. Here it is. Give him a follow at Rule XRP. Financial Services and Markets Act granted royal assent by King Charles III. Just like we mentioned, making crypto trading a regulated financial activity in the UK. Got the royals behind it. When we say that, the UK is also part of the whole mix of leading the charge, well, from a different perspective, we know that in Japan, they're leading the charge as far as, that regulatory framework to get us the clarity we need with data free flow with trust. Don't know what that is? By all means, check out my deep dives. Well, Max, you haven't done a deep dive. You haven't done deep dive in the whole freaking 10 days when it comes to Jasmine, man. You were the main guy I was following. What is going on? It's called real life. Real life is what happened. But I swear I will come back with the alpha, hopefully tonight. Maybe I just say to myself, you know what? I don't care what kind of outside noise I get. I am going to bring some of that alpha back. Shout out to all the people that are in the Jasmine, right? But let's focus on what's going on, especially when it comes to XRP and some of this stuff. So, cryptoslate.com, Financial Services and Markets Act granted royal assent by King Charles III. The Financial Services and Markets Bill intends to turn the UK into a competitive financial center, including supporting crypto regulation. UK's killing it. Let's be honest. UK is absolutely killing it. Look at what's going on with, for instance, with Quant Network. You understand that, Gilbert Verdian used to be part of the Digital Pound Foundation. We got verification from the Bank of England, the Quant Connection. We got, everything with Project Rosalind, Bank of International Settlements. So there is so much going on in the UK. Is the bottom line. But how much to the point where it's like, should we really pay a lot of attention to it? You better believe, bet your sweet aunt we should pay attention to it, right? So let's go to Crypto Slate. And let's just get into it, right? So adoption, that's the key thing to all this, right? Institutional adoption. Let's, if last week's narrative was, hey, the hint of institutional adoption with the likes of, BlackRock with the Coinbase ETF, and now we see this new thing in regards to Fidelity. Absolutely. It's this whole narrative shift of institutional adoption. But in order to get full-scale institutional adoption, there has to be a start somewhere. Enter in CryptoSlate, enter into this particular thing that we're talking about. Financial Services and Markets Act granted royal assent by King Charles, making crypto traded a regulated financial activity in the UK. The Financial Services and Markets Bill, which intends to make the UK a competitive financial center, like we mentioned, includes crypto amongst its vision. In reality, let's face it, blockchain, use cases, distributed ledger technologies, which ones are part of that? This was reported earlier today, everybody, at 4:20 p.m. UTC. But yeah, look at this. Here's what it's actually called. It's called the Financial Services and Markets Act of 2023. I'm telling you flat out, we were talking about this for over a year now, right? Were we not? About the whole topic of at some point, you're going to see the ball rolling, right? Enter in, obviously, data free flow with trust in Japan. Enter in now in the UK, the Financial Services and Markets Act of 2023. So it says this received a royal assent from, of course, the beloved king of the UK, marking a new era for the UK's financial services sector. The new law includes cryptocurrency trading as a regulated financial activity in the UK. I mean, that right there, we wouldn't even have to read any more than this to understand how bullish that is. According to HM Treasury, this act is central to the government's vision to foster, listen to this, guys, foster an open, sustainable, and technologically advanced financial services industry. Oh, wow. That sounds bullish. Yes, of course it does. Designed to tailor financial services regulation to meet the unique needs of the UK market, this act leverages opportunities presented by Brexit. It aims to enhance the competitiveness of the UK as a global financial center while delivering improved outcomes for consumers and businesses. Now, I want to state this. Now, if you've been following what's going on in the UK and so on, we know that roughly over a year ago, maybe it was 2 years at this point. I can't remember. The UK was originally also part of the European Union. There was this thing called Brexit. Basically, they said, "To hell with the euro. We're done with that. Bring back, the pound and so on." And they never looked back. And I think for the most part, it wasn't, like unanimous, obviously, but the majority of the people felt as though that was a good thing. Now, when we talk about things being all like planned by design, was this all planned in design to get us to the point of where we're at now? Possibly. Let's jump more into this. Andrew Griffith, Economic Secretary to the Treasury, heralded this is a pivotal year for reforming the country's financial services. He said, quote, "This landmark piece of legislation gives us control of our financial services rulebook." Again, like think about how they have, technically speaking, that framework, if you will. I mean, it's not labeled that way, but you could put two and two together. So it supports UK businesses and consumers and drives growth. We also know that blockchain can drive growth. Yesterday night, little known fact, I went to In-N-Out Burger, right? And while I was waiting in line for 40 minutes for my amazing In-N-Out Burger sandwich, right? I thought I would basically tune into a particular podcast that I listened to that was talking about some of these things that we're outlining and so on. And, one of the things that was mentioned was healthcare. Okay. So many times we're talking about, what's going on in the world with, blockchain technology, DLT, and so on. But in reality, we put a lot of focus on the payment rails. But in reality, we should put a lot of focus on healthcare. This lady came on, I forgot her name, but she made a really great example. She was a person that has literally been involved in healthcare for over 20 years. And she was mentioning, if we did the classic approach of how we go about, from an administrative point of view with healthcare, just the classic stationary, pencil and pen type of thing and so on, and get things on the books. She's like, in reality, that's like, we're looking at like 18 months to, to really get all the information together and have it properly documented and so on. She's just like, blockchain technology in itself allows us to, and she mentioned the word scale. And if you think about it, it's like, yeah, you are going to be a scale. You're getting things done a lot more quicker and more efficiently. Think about how many times you had problems going to, like the urgent care or, the emergency room, or, you got a referral from your doctor to go to, see this specialist. And it's just such a time consuming bunch of nonsense. Imagine if everything was on blockchain, right? How things would be so much more efficient and so on. Anyway, I'm gonna get back into this. It says, at the height of the FTX scandal, Griffith urged the Treasury Committee not to conflate the scandal with cryptocurrency as a whole, adding that the country should still seek opportunities in technology under a well-calibrated regulatory response. There it is. And this is some of that response. I mean, he's literally coming from, a king to sign off on it, right? A significant aspect of the act is enabling crypto regulation to support their safe adoption. Again, another key thing here, adoption. You're literally seeing it like verbally speaking or, on paper. So in the UK, it provides, for establishing sandboxes to facilitate new technologies like blockchain in financial markets. I know some of you guys aren't into QNT, and it's okay. I'm like, at the end of the day, none of this is financial advice. But when I see some terms like this, like sandboxes and so on, I'm literally thinking of like Overledger, because that is like the digital sandbox. It's a platform, to allow for interoperability. 100 plus blockchains, fully interoperable. The Act's implications extend to enhancing the scrutiny and accountability of financial services regulators. It focuses on transparency, regular reporting, and a greater emphasis on cost-benefit analysis. Kind of like what was mentioned earlier, the whole thing of healthcare and so on. Blockchain technology is going to allow the healthcare industry to take things to the next level, and rightfully so. I mean, can you name an industry that is more bureaucratic to a sense than the healthcare industry? It's unbelievably ridiculous. These changes aim to facilitate the growth of the UK's economy and boost international competitiveness. Now, they're also part of the mix, leading the charge, just like with Japan and so on. When is the United States going to get on board, right? That's the bottom line. You're starting to see hints of it, especially when we see Jerome Powell mentioning things you never seen him mention before, right? Labeling some of these things as actually being digital assets instead of, oh, this stuff is worthless, we're never going to use it. So I thought I'd introduce some of that to you guys. We're going to jump now to what Mr. Michael Montclair was talking about. And I know maybe I'm going a little bit extended instead of just getting back in the comments. And I promise I will get back into the comments because I basically want to do that. But here's what Michael Montclair shared. Crypto Talk Now, sideline reporter, the one, the only, the musical talents of Michael Montclair. Give him a follow if you enjoy some good music. Good music, right? Not some mumble rap garbage. Not saying he's a rapper, but you get what I'm saying. So here it is, okay? We talked about this yesterday. Here's more of the outline. Law Commission, reforming the law, digital assets, current project status, almost completed. Went from initiation, pre-consultation, consultation, policy development, and then what's reported here. They published their final report, which includes a law reform recommendations to government on basically yesterday. You can download the report if you choose to do so. I don't think any of you guys are really going to be nerding it out, but check out what's mentioned here. They understand there's a real problem. I'm not going to read all of this, but basically speaking, here's some of the juicy stuff. States some digital assets, including crypto tokens and crypto assets, are treated as objects by property by market participants. Property and property rights are vital to modern social, economic, and legal systems and should be recognized and protected as such. Yeah, of course. It's no brainer, right? But over the last 15 years, personal property law in England itself and also Wales has proven sufficiently flexible to accommodate digital assets. However, and here's some of the other stuff we should talk about. As the digital asset market and related technology continues to change, there remains some residual legal uncertainty and complexity. Again, hence why we need to have the framework to get us to the point where we have the clarity, hence institutions coming in and getting insane market caps. If you were thinking 3 trillion market cap from the last bull market was a big deal, we understand that we can get, like Selmofo was mentioning, 5, 10, 15 trillion with the big institutions coming in. Now, of course, there's this project. I'm not going to get into all of it, but I want to point some of this out, and that is in the final report, they concluded that the common law system in England and Wales was well placed to provide a coherent, and listen to this, guys, globally, we're talking about like laying down the framework, not just for the UK, but for the rest of the world, right? Relevant regime for existing and new types of digital asset. This is bullish in itself because if you have royalty on board, you have, some of these guys that are the lawmakers from the House of Commons and so on, different way of going about things, obviously, over in the UK. But the point is, if they are all in agreement of this is how you go about it, then you do lead the charge along with, for instance, Japan and so on. What's the key narrative here? All these guys are part of the G7. We conclude that the flexibility of common law allows for the recognition of distinct categorical personal property that can better recognize, accommodate, and protect the unique features of certain digital assets. And like it says, including crypto tokens and crypto assets. They recommend legislation, again, some of the law that needs to be passed, right, to confirm the existence of this category and remove any uncertainty. Bullish as well, right there on that. Now, let's scroll down to this part, and that is this. The analysis recommends, I should say, and concludes in the report that they informed basically detailed responses. They received a call for evidence. This was published all the way back on May of 2021, right? Remember when we first, at least for me, when I was starting my crypto journey, I was hearing about some of this stuff. But anyway, dating back to May 2021, and our consultation paper published on July 2022. So there's a follow-up. It says, thank you for those consultees who have responded to our call for evidence. Think about it for a second, right? It's just like anything, court of laws and so on, present something and then get some kind of evidence to support that it's valid. And our consultation paper who have otherwise met and corresponded with us during our project. Now, let's try to get some kind of expert review in regards to this because it's worth paying attention to. All right, so let's jump to this, and I fast forward to it. We were talking about yesterday the one and only Mr. Lewis Jackson, Crypto Lulu. Give him a follow. He deserves your follow. Okay. It says XRP UK wants to basically skyrocket your wealth with crypto collateral. Our thumbnail and highlight of the show, as you guys saw, me in a suit and so on. Generational wealth and how to build it. In my opinion, this is one way of doing it. All right. I can't give you direct financial advice, but this is what I'm personally doing. Please don't sue me. Anyway, joking aside, let's go ahead and play this. About roughly 6.5 minutes, 6 minutes roughly. Not that long. After this particular segment, we will then show you a little bit more. And on the next topic, it will be in regards to this big thing on July 20th. Please smash that like. And of course, we'll get back in the comments here in a little bit. This comes from Crypto Lulu, Lewis Jackson. Here we go.
So this new document is out, and man, it's incredible. There are 3 things that have been mentioned time and time again in this document that basically epitomize everything I've been talking about on this channel for the last year. Like every time I've talked about the future use case for these assets without having to actually spend the assets as currencies or as payment, they're talking about it as now being integrated as part of the law when they reform the law for this new system. It's incredible. So let's get into it. I mean, the first one is that they want to explore the idea of intermediated holding arrangements. And breaking this down very simply, this is laws surrounding companies holding, or let's say even banks, holding your crypto assets in their custody. And actually, I think this law, the law that they're talking about at least, doesn't actually even mean exchanges or custody companies. I think they're talking about general companies. Like, for example, if the corner shop down the road or the 7-Eleven, right? They could essentially establish a crypto custody solution wherein they hold your XRP and you can use it kind of like as credit in the shop. So you can just go in the shop and scan something and it comes out of your account that they're holding. Now, of course, this isn't the ideal way that you want to be doing it, right? But it's good to know that they will have these solutions and laws surrounding how companies can do this. It's incredible. Of course, I'm sure it will have implications for the custody companies that exist, like Fireblocks or whatever they are. Ones in the UK will at least have laws surrounding them and how they can operate. Obviously, the big drawback of this is that if they did go bust, for example, then the crypto's lost, right? That's a problem. And that's why you would always try to specifically lean on custody solutions, because they'll have kind of fail safes for that situation. So just the idea that they are arranging laws, pushing for laws around intermediated holding arrangements is amazing news and provides another utility for this asset when this new system comes in. So the next one is laws surrounding using XRP just the same way as you would use cash or that you would use stocks. There's so many different ways that you can use those assets. For example, this law would actually allow you to have XRP as, wait for it, your retirement fund. It would actually have the laws and regulations put in place to allow your XRP to be used in that capacity. Amazing. So you have retirement accounts, mutual funds, or just using XRP for the everyday transaction. And of course, this leads to a higher acceptance and use of XRP, and obviously would increase the value of XRP because people would be holding vast amounts of XRP as their retirement fund, for example. That's not moving for a period of time. That's locked away, taken out of circulation. More people want to use XRP, and there's less supply, higher demand, higher price. And then finally, the last one, which I'm most excited about. I think actually, to be fair, the retirement fund in XRP is way up there with things I'm excited about with my XRP. But the last one are laws around collateral arrangements. And if you know that word collateral, I say it a lot. This is essentially the ability through regulated and insured environments to use your XRP to get a loan. Oh, and let me just say, that's tax-free. This whole time we've been saying you can use your XRP, you'll be able to go to the bank, you'll be able to get a loan, spend that tax-free cash that you've got from your XRP loan, buy cash flowing assets, pay off the debt. You've still got the cash flowing assets. There you are, your lifestyle sorted for the rest of your life, and you haven't spent a single XRP in the process. I think the only thing to consider here, and like the negative of all of that, is just the negative of loans in general, right? If the price of the asset crashes, you will lose the value of your assets, right? Because you get liquidated. But if the value of the asset goes up over time, it's essentially paying off the loan. And it's difficult. It's a difficult question to answer for yourself. Like, do I want to be involved in collateralizing or getting a loan against my XRP, acknowledging that XRP goes up in value all the time, or up and down in value all the time, its current rate? But for me, this isn't like new information. It's just really, really nice to see it talked about as a legal question, to see it talked about by the UK government about how we need laws to allow people to collateralize their digital assets. And it's not just XRP, it's all the assets. It's just digital assets in general. I've never seen a document from a government more on the nose about digital assets. I mean, let's go back to the cover of this document. Law Commission with the King's Crown, reforming the law, digital assets, final report. It couldn't be more on the nose. And when I say there's lots of information here, there is lots of information, 304 pages of information. I have touched on one little element of this whole document, and I'm going to keep digging in because this document is actually the forefront, the cutting edge of where we stand with laws and regulations with crypto assets, very specifically, and their utility moving forward. This is the blueprint of how it's going to go. And this isn't just about the UK. Of course, this document is a UK document. This is going to be the same, basically worldwide, with just different words. So the fact that the UK are moving like this in such a way, so on the nose, it just fills me with excitement about what's coming in the US and all the big major countries. They're all going to be doing stuff like this. And here we are, positioned in the right assets at the right time. I mean, let's do a round of applause in the chat here. If you enjoyed this video and you're excited and you want me to dive even deeper into this report, please leave a golf clap emoji in the comments or in the live chat if you're watching this on the live premiere. If you want to watch more videos of mine, then you can watch my podcast. I interview loads of experts in the space. That's the video at the bottom. The video right above is a recent video of mine where I talk about, again, the UK putting a bill through royal assent that touches on digital settlement assets. That's XLM, XRP, could all be affected by that bill. You can also click my face if you want to subscribe. Stay emotionless, and I'll see you in the next one.
Lewis Jackson doing it big. I mean, check out his live show, go to his channel, check out his recorded videos and so on. A great proponent of research consistently and so on. That was big. I mean, that was a quick follow-up from yesterday. I don't know. We've been following him for obviously well over a year. Glad to always share his content. I have nothing but love and respect for that guy. He even gave us a shout out at one point when I went on his show. I thought that was pretty cool. Thanking us for sharing his content, which was a feel good moment. So thank you so much to Lewis Jackson. All right, we're gonna kick it back into the comments. See what you guys have in regards to specific questions, comments, you name it, and so on. It's been a great show so far. I feel very enthusiastic about this pathway forward. At the end of the day, we all want to hear some good news. And, my key thing has always been, I want to be invested in the ones where institutional money is going to come in. But when is that institutional money going to start coming in? Again, like I said, guys, there always has to be a start to anything. Like a great book, there's a start of that story and it's going to end somewhere. So that's the way I look at it. Boom, there you go. But if you just connected and hopefully you heard that segment, please smash that like button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. That's all we ask. For some of you guys know, we're not sponsored by anybody. We did get approached recently in regards to a sponsorship, but apparently, I don't know. Those guys didn't seem like nothing against. If those guys are watching, I'm just saying, it just didn't seem like anything that I would want to. I don't know. They didn't even want to do an AMA or whatever. So it is what it is. I'm not going to mention who they are, but it's okay. All right. So let's get more into the comments. And then, of course, we will jump back to the next part. If you're wondering what that next part is, we will talk about, like I mentioned earlier, about this whole concept of July 20th, right? And FedNow and so on. So that's the next thing that we'll get into. Glad everybody's welcome back, Mr. Hump Not Dump, a.k.a. Badir. Crypto winner. It's funny that I did see Henry Brown today, and I was like, it'd be great to have both of these guys on at the same time because they have very similar type of way of texting in the comments. So but that's okay. Maybe they're like distant relatives, brothers from another mother or something. All right. Triple C, order you don't say. Yes, that's one that's definitely on my list. Be out on the lookout for that. I got a few I have to do. I realize that. So I do a follow up on ICP. I want to do a proper ordinals deep dive. I got to do, of course, render. On render, I think I might just do on the live show, but I haven't forgotten. All right. Yeah. I welcomed you earlier, Mr. Selmo Fudd, but I always welcome you again. Glad to have you here, Mr. Selmo Fudd. Sobo, Brittany, everybody's welcoming you. Humpty says, yes, he's been saying it since last year. 2023 is for the brave. Welcome to the Larry Fink, Black Rock, and Jimmy Diamond, JP Morgan Chase show. Can't forget, Abigail, president and CEO of Fidelity. All right. But I think I also welcomed GS. Yeah, I did earlier. Nice new avatar. What else we got up in the house? Humpty says, history. The Fidelity Fund became Fidelity Investments under Edward C. Johnson II, incorporated in Massachusetts, May 1st, 1930. Some pretty nice, useful info there. Triple C says, wonder if I better get my stuff off of Kucoin. All right. I'll see life up to y'all. Morning, Max. Yeah, glad to have you here, of course. I think I welcomed you earlier. All right, so let's see if you guys got any specific questions or comments. If not, that's okay. Jay Cryptic, welcome back. It says, hello, all. And I probably said this to you before, but consider change your avatar. Something speaks more about who you are and what you're about. Does it take long? Just helps us identify you a lot easier, but definitely remember the name. Peeps aren't happy about this KuCoin KYC business. Yeah, they're not. I myself, I am fully verified on KuCoin. I did that a long time ago, so I'm not really sweating it. But if we can't do trading, for those who KuCoin was always famous for not having KYC. That's the bottom line. So I don't know. We'll see what's going on. I don't know about that. I'm just saying, I mean, that's their statement, but if you don't want to go through the whole, jumping through the hoops of KYC, that obviously. But in reality, here's the thing. I think they're going to make you do KYC, right, with the withdrawal. Am I not? I'm probably thinking that's what's going to be the case. All right. So if you have been using KuCoin for years, I wonder if you have to do that. I don't know. When I was trying to do the leverage, they prompted me on like some extra stuff. And of course I did it, but then I did just change my mind about the leverage. Anyway. All right. Good to have Larry here. Crypto Talk Now's Larry. Let's go further down. Got Mighty Max up on the big screen. Thank you for that, Larry. Mr. Brian Dowie is in the house, but let me read this real quick. So after July 16th, we can't withdraw anymore. That's the way I look, unless you've done full KYC, to my understanding. Cool cat. That's what it looks like to be. In reality, it's I think I want to even say it's probably July 14th, because you got to keep in mind this is UTC. There's a big time difference. So if you're literally thinking like, oh, this must be midnight, our time, going into the 15th, it's UDC. I think it's Singapore time. Aren't they like 18? I'm on Pacific Standard Time, so I believe that's like 18 hours ahead if I'm not mistaken. So I would just treat it like literally, a day in advance. Like some of my friends that go to Japan, they're always like, hey man, I'll be back on this date, and then it's like, in reality, no, you're a day ahead of me. So anyway, Brian Dowie, glad to have you. Mr. Brian Dowie, boom, there you go. Patches loves my voice. He does. That's interesting. All right, let's see if you guys got any other things to mention. There's a question. So after we were all loaded from the bull run, are we partying at Max's house? Just asking for a friend. Well, hopefully it'll be the new house. You don't want to party in this house. This house is just, I don't know. I mean, it's paid for. I mean, there's no mortgage, thank God. I'm proud about that, but it's just an average middle class house, right? But in the future, my dream home is, probably like a nice custom built house, unless somebody's got like the house I basically been dreaming of, a lake house, right? Like I said, guys, I have a nice backyard, leads out to a nice dock, goes out to the lake. I'm gonna have like a Chris Craft style boat, I like wood. I like the sound of how wood goes across, the water, the sound of it, and so on. And then probably go with an outboard. I did inboards in the past. They're just not as good as for being a good ski boat and so on. But yeah, I'm gonna have a nice little ski boat, and you guys are welcome. We'll have a nice barbecue and so on, and maybe we'll have Mr. Boomer Alpha Sooner, lathering up the ribs or whatever. Sounds good. We're gonna have some barbecue beef ribs, yes, and not the kind that you just go down to the store and you buy it and get ripped off, and there's hardly any meat on the darn beef rib. I'm talking about some good hearty stuff that we'll have to special order. All right, some baked beans and some cornbread and all that good stuff, right? So, and I mean that too. I'm not the type of guy to be like, oh, I don't want to meet people from the internet and stuff like that. No, I'm not like that. I've met probably over 100 people who I consider friends over 20 plus years from the internet. And some people have that too. Like, I don't want to meet nobody from the internet. Oh, they're probably going to take me out and do all sorts of, abduct me like aliens or something like that. Want to know something? I met more people in person that are not from the internet that I would consider much worse people than people who I become good friends with over the internet for many, many years. And I stand by that because of my gaming group. That's why I'm DPG Maximus, Dog Pound Gaming Maximus. I still talk to quite a few guys from my Dog Pound Gaming, my gaming group, and so on. Real great. Some of these guys I've known since they were like basically kids, because like for one, I was like in my early 20s and they grown up and so on. One of my buddies, Chris, he became like a youth pastor in Waco, Texas. Lives in Dallas. He also works for what was formerly known as Funimation. Got to go to a red carpet premiere for Shin Godzilla. He's the guy, like I always said, like if we couldn't get no verification on some of the stuff in regards to the Jasmine office, I remember offered to pay him to go over there. Well, obviously I don't really think I need to do that anymore because we already got those verifications. So, but that's what I'm talking about, man. It's just like there's some good people out there and so on. I mean, if we have like interests and we're researching a lot of this stuff, I mean, I understand, for some people it's like, you meet people in person and it's just like, some of these people are way different than on the text. I get that. I've been through that too, but for the most part, it was never anything too shocking if you never met somebody from the internet. And if you don't want to meet any of us, you don't have to come. No one's gonna hold a gun to your head, but the invitation's there. So anyway, but you're more than welcome, Aussie Life, and I mean that, and that goes to everybody else in the future at some point. We are going to realistically have to talk about some of these things, Larry was going to mention, I actually said Boomer to Larry. I said, hey, Boomer F and Sooner asked, the other day about the whole thing about the meetup in June. Some of the guys that we were, I guess you gotta say we're going to be partnered with, or what do you want to call it? Like, the deal didn't go through, but he'll probably elaborate more when he comes back, which in reality wouldn't be, if he's not gonna be here this weekend, it'd probably be like the next weekend, because I'm gonna be with you guys this weekend. All right, read a few more. Triple C, this is for Triple C, my bad. All right, Hump Not Dump, I'll read this comment and then I'll double check the other screen, and if there's nothing there, kick it back to our outline. JP Morgan led the Bitcoin skeptic. Jamie Dimon quietly unveils access to a half dozen crypto funds. And of course, Larry says, sup, y'all, is hotter than a Southern girl and Daisy Dukes. Oh, yeah, man, that sucks. All right. I'm so glad. I mean, it's expensive, the amount I spent for this air conditioner, but I'm happy that I invested the money back in April, because it would have been hell right now. Actually, the weather here in Phoenix has been pretty darn good, actually. We haven't had a 110-degree day yet. Now watch, I'm going to jinx it. All right. Let me double check the other screen, see how we're doing. I think we're doing good. I want to welcome Mr. Salamander. The XDC commander is in the house. Patrick Collier is in the house. I'm in there like swimmer, Max. Well, that's good to see, Mr. Patrick Collier. Glad to have you. Salamander XTC commander. He's got the barbecue grills going on. River says he'll bring the moose. And oh, man, bring the moose. I do like elk. It tastes a lot like regular, beef. But bring the moose, my friend, and some, oh, God. If anybody, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you had moose, it is better than any type of black Angus meat. To me, moose meat is the best of the best. Although I haven't had Wagyu, right? We understand that that's some amazing marbleized meat and so on. Some point in the future, I do got to try that. But other than that, for the ones I've tried, moose meat takes the cake. You want to know what's the worst? In my opinion, bear meat. Ugh. It literally takes, like we talk about Winnie the Pooh and stuff like that. He's always eating, honey. I know it's a cartoon, but I'm telling you flat out, moose bear meat tastes like somebody took like beef or whatever it is and just dipped it into a bunch of honey or sugar or something like this. Ugh. Like, it's gross, man. I can't stand it. Maybe there's a proper way to make. I don't like it. Rabbit, in my opinion, is better than chicken. It's more tender. But anyway, I know for some people are like, what the heck, Max? But my dad, he grew up on a farm. My mom, she also grew up on a farm. And yeah, I try something. I'm open to stuff. However, I'm not open to balut. Like I was telling Rafael Santos, shout out to you, Rafael, if you're watching or you're watching recorded. I will not eat balut. And like apparently you're supposed to eat it in the dark. Like, who does that? Oh, let's try this amazing thing. I'm gonna go blindfolded and I'm eat this thing in the dark. No, thank you. If it's that horrible to look at, I mean, no. But apparently that's supposed to be the most amazing thing. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I do eat it. Who knows? Forget all that talk. All right, let's get back into what we have for this outline. I just want to say I really love and appreciate this community that we have here at CTN. You guys, you rock. Good times and bad. I'll never forget the very first Friday. It was Cody Core and one random person, and that was it. Me and Larry were literally speaking to Cody Core and a random internet person. In reality, it might not have even been an internet person. It might have been Larry's phone connected to the channel for the live stream. So it's just Cody. We're just doing a whole show talking to one guy. But you guys rock. Thank you so much for being here. Don't think I don't appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. We're gonna make it. I really truly believe we're gonna make it. It's not just like, I believe that we're gonna make it. It's more to that. It's the research. It's what like I always said, research trumps the FUD 110%. But if you give into the fear, not to quote Yoda, I wish Crypto Jedi was here. Shout out to him. Hopefully he's having a great night. But like he always quotes Yoda, or he has Yoda in his videos. If you give into the fear and you don't finish the race, you're never going to be able to enjoy, the dividends or whatever, the rewards of, enjoy the harvest of the crypto, right? Let's get to that finish line. It might be a couple years, but let's all get to that finish line together. All right, let's jump back to what we have for today's outline. And let's pull this up. Is it breaking news once again? I don't think so. But nonetheless, we'll see what's next on this list. I'm just trying to get rid of some of these tabs. Here it is. This comes from ISO 222. Let's do it. Who is Rohitku? Let's get this on the screen for you can see it. And here it is, basically. And I'll come back into the frame. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. We are currently at 60 likes. Do appreciate that. We're doing pretty good. All right, so let's talk about this for a brief moment. It says Kristen Robertson from Ripple's partner Finastra, quote, and here's what some of you guys have been talking about in the chat. I see what's going on in the chat, and that's good. July 20th is the magic day. Now, this is only 47 seconds from the interview. You can watch the whole interview if you want. In fact, I'd probably advise you doing that. It's pretty interesting. We're going to play this little clip, but yeah, the full interview is about 14 minutes. We're not going to play the whole thing. But listen to this. This is pretty big stuff. Smash that like. Here we go.
Mike Lawson here with CU Broadcast. Welcome back to our show. And on today's program, we have Kristen Robertson from the fine organization called Finastra. Kristen, how are you today? Good to see you.
I'm doing just fine, Mike. Nice to see you as well.
Yay. Well, today we're talking about a super fascinating topic that I'm going to be all transparent here, that I just basically found out about. My gosh, I'm in the financial services industry. Why did I not know this? But anyway, I digress on that. The Federal Reserve's new payments rail called FedNow, which is going to be starting up, I think in July. Is that correct, Kristen? Somewhere?
July 20th is the magic day.
That's the big day. Yeah, so we're talking to you today about how Finastra is going to be working with credit unions and community banks to help them prepare for what's about to happen here. Mike Lawson here with CU Broadcast.
All right. So obviously we have a little bit more in regards to this. Let's jump into this. So here is a little bit more. Let me pull that up. Apologize. Give me a second. All right, here it is. So this came from, of course, this tweet from Kristen Robertson, the lady that was referenced in the video. I'll come back into the frame, and I will read this verbatim because it's good stuff. So, you know, a lot of you guys have been following this and so on. She, posted this earlier. She said that she had the pleasure of chatting with Sammy Eastwood on FedNow, the Federal Reserve's bank's instant payment type that goes live on July 20th. In the past, I say many months ago, we've been talking about watch out for what happens in July, but we never had a specific date. We now have a specific date. Now, does this mean that everything's just going to pump in the day? As the saying goes, buy the rumors, sell the news? No, not exactly, right? But some people feel as though that yes, it could, and it's the ones that are officially going to use this. Now, I did see your comment, Cool Cat Crypto, in the comments about, you have to have smart contracts, and of course, there's ones that don't have that yet. I think you're referring to Ripple, and some people were saying, well, then it has to be Stellar. Stellar will be the one. We'll see how that goes. I mean, technically speaking, how about XDC, right? Or are we not talking about XDC? Obviously, are you kidding me? Like, XRC 20 token? So it's just like, at the end of the day, that smart contracts up the wazoo with Zinfin Network or with XDC. So I'm looking at it, that perspective. The trade sector is going to be huge. So, I mean, but, last time around with ISO 222 going live on March 20th, a lot of us, of course, were focused all on Ripple and, XLM and so on. And the one that technically had price action, I believe what did it do, like 2 or 3x? I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it did something, and that was XDC. Will this be another perfect case of that? I don't think so, because my thing is this: FedNow is utilizing the actual utility of whatever is actually tied into it. A lot different, comparison, if you will, when comparing it to just ISO 222, a messaging system, right? This is the actual, in my opinion, utilizing the platform, utilizing the utility, right? Are we too far off here? So it says there's various ways this will impact businesses, CFOs in the near future. Sammy's article below is a great summary of the many benefits to come as a result of the new payment type to those in corporate finance. Hopefully you will find the article interesting and informative. And you guys can look it up for yourself. This is a really long article, I believe. It says, FedNow, how should CFOs prepare for instant payments? Now, maybe by tomorrow, I'll do a little bit more review. I didn't have a chance to get into that fully. I apologize on that. This guy even says, the article was 2 months ago and so on, but it's still, it's a reference because, again, she was interviewed here recently. But I want to jump into just a tad bit more of what we have. Hold on a second. And that is, like what Lewis Jackson was saying right here. And this is good stuff. So let's just highlight a brief bit of this. I'll blow this up. So it's like, what Crypto Lulu said here, Lewis Jackson. What does the withdrawal of attorneys mean in a case? Why would an attorney leave? I mean, there's some of these things. But, sorry about that. That's in regards to SEC versus Ripple. But, I mean, it needs to be referenced. Anyway, it says conflict of interest, some of these other things. But in regards to FedNow, let me pull this up back up. I'm sorry. It says July 20th July 20th or July 1st. It's not the 1st. That's the thing I want to clarify. It's definitely July 20th. All right. Some of these people are talking about some of these other things. So we'll get more back into this. I just want more of a chance to, I guess you say, review more of it. But yeah, it's the incoming instant payment system. If you're not aware of it, FedNow is sweeping the US, right? Like, some people like myself, I'm still holding on to Cypherium just in case. Some people feel as though that's 100% scam. I get where you're coming from. All right, so here is actually the part. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Here's the part I want to share in regards to FedNow. I knew I had the outline. I was just like, where did it go? All right, here it is. So let's jump into this. Again, once again, from Lewis Jackson. I mean, he's he's definitely helped out with our outline tonight. So he's trying not to put too much emphasis on specific dates, but in reality, we did, right? It's now July 20th. Let's pay attention to it. As far as price movement, right? XRP, as far as price movement for XRP, but sentences like, listen to this, guys, at launch, FedNow will have core clearing and settlement functionality. Made it hard. Now, I do get where Coolcat is mentioning, in regards to, smart contract functionalities on, not so, obviously on a public ledger and so on. So will it be like pay attention to the XDCs of the world, pay attention to the Stellars of the world, and so on? Where the case be, something's going to happen, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe nothing happens, right? And that's just a reality. It could be a perfect case of buy the rumor, sell news. So at launch, FedNow will have core clearing and settlement. This was reported on June 27th, so 2 days ago. Functionality and features, face drop moment. Let's blow this up. I think that's big enough for you guys. Let me see if it is. If kind of is. Let me see. Let me zoom in. That's big enough for you guys. It should be. Let me see if I can blow it up just a tad bit more. For some of you guys that are on your couch and stuff, and you're kind of at a distance, let's try to blow up just a tad bit more. Let me see. Is this a little bit bigger for you guys? All right, I'm gonna come out of the frame before we put some emphasis on it. And if anything, I will pull off one of the brand banners. All right, let's just read this for a brief moment. So you should all see this now on your screen, plain as day. Let's jump into this. So Ken Montgomery, he's the first vice president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and FedNow executive, said, quote, "We couldn't be more excited about the forthcoming FedNow launch, which will enable every participating financial institution, the smallest to largest, and from all corners of the country, to offer a modern instant payment solution." Now, my thing is this. The modern instant payment solution, some people are obviously, whether we like it or not, right? Coolcat and so on, they're going to say Ripple's XRP. Let's just be honest. That's just like, you're going to see a lot of content creators talking about this. It says, with the launch drawing near, we urge financial institutions and their industry partners to move full steam ahead with preparations to join the FedNow service. Well, okay. I mean, are some of these guys too late to show up? I mean, how does that work? Look what's also mentioned here. The press release stated that the U.S. Treasury and various financial institutions have declared their intent to use FedNow after the launch. While the press release did not identify any specific companies' involvement in the program, some of the largest payment processors have already announced their readiness to aid the launch of the new system. And look what's highlighted again. Some of the largest payment processors. This is why Lewis Jackson is obviously using the XRP reference. So we can agree to disagree on that, right? So some of you guys understand, like, okay, well, it is definitely Ripple. Well, hold your horses. In addition to taking specific steps to prepare for the July launch, the Federal Reserve continues to plan further ahead and examine ways to make FedNow successful for years to come. A stated goal of the program is to grow the network of participants to increase its utility for consumers and businesses. Again, who was it that mentioned this numerous times? Sean, the crypto smith. Shout out to him. Remember how he said it wasn't going to be just one? In my opinion, this little short paragraph is an example of that. It doesn't have to be just one, right? So my thing is, when we're talking about ISO 222 in the past, and diversifying our portfolio, like I myself recently finally got into, IOTA, right? I feel as though great timing with that. I think this is another example. It's not just. I know some of you guys don't want me to mention Cypher, but it's not just Cypher, right? It could be the Ripples of the world, XLM, XDC, right? But maybe possibly some IOTA. Who knows, right? As far as the data perspective. Okay. It says at launch, FedNow. Excuse me. Hold on a second. I want to go up ahead. In addition to taking specific steps to prepare for the July launch, which is July 20th, the Federal Reserve continues to plan further ahead and examine ways to make FedNow successful for years to come. A stated goal of the program is to grow the network of participants to increase its utility for consumers and businesses. Again, goal of the program to expand that network of participants. Well, again, I mean, if that's the case, then it's not just Ripple, it's not just Stellar, Whether you're for frame, it's not just them. It's not just XAC. At launch, FedNow will have a core clearing and settlement functionality feature. The Federal Reserve plans to add more features in the future that will support industry safety, resiliency, and innovation. The Federal Reserve believes the launch of FedNow in July will be the first step of many to implement the service throughout 2023 and beyond. I want to state this, and I'm going to come back into the frame. Okay. You guys have seen in the past, before we seen this whole thing of the narrative shift, as I was put it, in the past, you saw interviews, I should say interviews, but like an actual live recording where Jerome Powell is addressing, who was it, Congress or whoever it was at the time, saying, look, we got FedNow, it's ready to go. But it has nothing to do with crypto. And we're like, what? Huh? So in the future, if we find out that these things are obviously crypto related, the ripples of the world, XDCs, XLM, possibly Cypherium, and so on, I think if anything, then people are going to be chopping these little snippets of what he said and be like, look, you're just as much of a liar, which a lot of people feel as though he is, as Gary Gensler, right? And it's just like, how are these guys going to be held accountable? Will the next narrative shift of the news be, instead of, fire Gary Gensler, people are going to be posting like, I don't know, fire Jerome Powell. I don't know. I'm just saying, I mean, he did mention that. We did show you guys some of the things he did state that, nope, FedNow is ready to go. And it's, he sounded anti-crypto. And then recently, the narrative has shifted where he literally labels all these things as real, true digital assets. So it's just like, okay, so is it a case of you can't beat him, join him? Are they literally on board? Was all this of what he was saying to divert us from our main goals? Right, for it, as you guys would say, shaking the the apple tree, right, shaking it all out, allowing people to give into fear. It literally is like the saying goes, it's a shakeout. They give into fear, everything becomes distressed. Wall Street has one last chance to accumulate the digital assets and so on. FedNow pause, like I mentioned, means blast off. We've seen a little taste of that. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where this goes. So let's jump into the next part of what we have. We do have a little bit more in regards to this. And I'm glad to, of course, share that. Let me jump to this next one. Yeah, so on the next segment we're going to get into, it's going to be QNT. And then after that, we're going to get into some Jasmine and some Nick's era. We're at now an hour and 22 minutes into the show. I do thank everybody for being here. We'll kick it back into the comments just for a brief bit. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see what's going on. Yes, smash that like button. Let's see if we can get this up into the 60s. That'd be pretty cool. All right, let's pull up some things on our HUD once again. And let's get into some more comments. Double check the other screen, see if we're good. All right. I think we're good for the most part. I want to welcome Calvin, Patrick Collier, gifted 1 Crypto Talk Now membership to the one and only Wayneside. Thank you so much. That was awesome. And congratulations to Wayneside. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Wayneside. That's so cool, man. Here's a dab. All right. So on top of that, hold on a second. Let's see where we're at. And let's now jump into what we have. All right. We're going to jump into the Q&T segment. Here we go. All right. This comes from constructiontrader.eth. It says the largest financial market in the world is the foreign exchange market. Let me just double check my settings, make sure I'm good. I am. All right. A lot of us are aware of this, right? Like I mentioned before, my cousin, Stephanie, years ago, long before I even heard of crypto, she killed it with, FX trading and so on. But to me, I don't know. I don't know if I had the patience to really learn it. I definitely had the patience to learn some of this stuff in crypto, but there's definitely money to be made, if you have the patience for it. But anyway, it is like it says, the largest financial market in the world is the foreign exchange market, FX, trading 7.5 trillion per day, not per week, month, year, per day. It says, listen carefully to this video. The international blockchain they're talking about is ETH. I know a lot of us are not a fan of it. I'm not a big fan of ETH either. But the bridge that provides interoperability is QNT. Now, I know some of you guys, for instance, hold BTC and you also hold ETH. Another thing you hold, for instance, like this is saying goes, there used to be a rule to a sense, right? Maybe not so much now, but there used to be a rule that prepare for the bull market, hold some BTC, hold some Ethereum, and if anything, also hold some BNB. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember some of this stuff. I'm not saying that you guys got to do that, but a lot of people feel as though that used to be kind of like the crypto narrative for a while. Let's go ahead and play this. It's about 2 minutes. This comes from constructiontrader.eth at C Traders. Give them a follow. Smash that like. Here we go. We're starting the QNT segment.
A tokenized financial system may be on the horizon with the potential to change markets. Today, the largest financial market in the world is the foreign exchange market, trading 7.5 trillion US dollars a day. How might we trade and settle FX in a tokenized world? Project Mariana ventures a look. It explores how wholesale central bank digital currencies, together with concepts borrowed from emerging decentralized finance, may improve effectiveness, safety, and transparency of FX trading and settlement. Mariana is a joint project between the BIS Innovation Hub, the Bank of France, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the Swiss National Bank. How does it work? An international blockchain-based network is at the heart of the experiment. It serves as an interbank foreign exchange market for hypothetical euro, Singapore dollar, and Swiss franc wholesale CBDCs. So-called automated market makers, decentralized exchanges popular in today's DeFi markets, enable FX trading and settlement for financial institutions. Wholesale CBDCs originate from the domestic platforms. They can be transferred between the domestic platforms and the international network using bridges. A uniform technical standard for the wholesale CBDCs on the international network enables interoperability and central bank governance. Project Mariana pioneers the use of novel technology such as AMMs for interbank FX markets, pushing the boundaries of central bank innovation.
All right, I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of what we have in regards to this. I'm just trying to get my bookmark back. Yeah, let's jump into a little bit more in regards to all of this. And here it comes from the same guy. I'm going to share this real quick. Here we go. And I know there's been a lot of talk about, obviously the Bank of International Settlements and so on, especially when it comes to Quant. Let me come back in the frame. And here it is. So I think I got it blown up good enough. Yeah. He states that the blueprint for the future monetary system is being drawn as we speak. And Quant Network has one of the pencils. I mean, that's a good way of looking at it, right? Who's paying attention here to what's to come because, he knows QNT holders are. I think that's definitely a good thing to point out. So if anything, I'm going to go ahead and play this. Here we go.
Let me turn to chapter 3, where we lay out a blueprint for the future monetary and financial system that could usher in quite profound changes to what is feasible in many walks of economic life. And let me start by putting things into a broader context. Throughout history, innovations in monetary arrangements have coincided with new types of economic activity that have led to dramatic spurts of growth and development. An important innovation was the advent of money in the form of ledger entries overseen by trusted intermediaries, which allowed new financial instruments that bridge both the geographical distance involved in trade, as well as the timing gap between incurring costs and receiving payment. The growth in trade and commerce in the last 500 years is hard to imagine without these innovations. Now, these were paper ledgers for hundreds of years, but when paper ledgers gave way to electronic record keeping, the gains were more dramatic still. So what lies ahead in the evolution of the monetary system? What is the next big development? This year's annual economic report argues that the monetary system could be on the cusp of another major leap. The watchword is tokenization. Tokenization is more than just the digital representation of money and assets. Tokens integrate the records of an asset, normally found in a traditional database, with the rules and logic governing transfers. By doing so, tokenization introduces two important capabilities. First, enables the contingent performance of actions. And second, it enables composability, where multiple actions can be bundled together into one executable package. Now, to understand what this all means, it's useful to start by considering how things work today. Our current system is essentially a collection of separate databases maintained by banks and other intermediaries. These intermediaries serve as account managers who are entrusted with maintaining an accurate record of ownership and transfers. The information is then linked by third-party messaging systems. And all this gives rise to the separation of messaging, reconciliation, and settlement. Tokenization combines messaging, reconciliation, and settlement into one seamless operation. Now, this saves time and raises efficiency, but this is only a small part of the potential gains. The more important impact comes through better allocation of resources and better risk sharing by resolving information and incentive problems. Tokenization can do this by facilitating the contingent performance of actions, where one party can undertake to do something conditional on something else being in place.
All right. So, I mean, a lot of information in regards to the Bank of International Settlements and so on consistently in the news, right? Not just seeing this is Augustine and so on, right? So what we're going to do now is jump into a little bit more in regards to this. And I'm going to show you guys just a few comments because it's worth sharing. So again, it's just comments, but it's good perspective. I like some of this stuff. So as we get into this, it says with the way it's been going, I'm sure we'll get confirmation of QNT involvement sometime this, next week. Construction Trader to East says he wouldn't be surprised one bit. We know, they know, they just need to tell them. But a lot of these things have already been confirmed as far as, like, for instance, Quant's over ledger and so on. But again, from this perspective of ETH and the bridge of interoperability, basically Quant's over ledger and so on, right? It's big stuff. All right, so I'm going to show you guys just a tad bit more. We're all obviously paying attention to this stuff. At least I think we are. And I want to show you guys this. And look what's mentioned here, okay? So it says too many companies to mention here, but QNT connects them all, right? How so? Well, let's blow this up. And basically speaking, you do see Amazon listed here. You have, for instance, you have Coinbase, all sorts of stuff, right? But you see how things are listed here, basically speaking. And let me just jump down into here. I don't know what the heck's going on. Somebody's banging on my door. Might have to ignore it for a bit. This guy will not quit. Let me see what's going on. This guy will not stop banging on my door. Be right back. Hold on a second. Let me try to play something for you guys. Oh man, this guy will not stop. Hold on a second. I have an emergency. I'm going to have to go. I'll see you guys.